Welcome back.
We are breaking
and entering.
and entering.
And I caught another Binkle during the break. And our Charmander's going to level up. Level up,
Yeah.
level up, level up, level up, level
Oh,
up.
yeah,
Let's
baby!
go.
Now we just need a Wartortle.
Yeah, baby.
We need to get a Blastoise.
I'm getting there. Just give me a minute.
Hey!
Girl.
Blastoise.
Girl, I'm getting
Go get
there. Look at him. It's
You gonna
so
get a
cute.
Blastoise, beach?
I'm getting there, beach. Baby girl.
That's like the cutest swear thing you could ever say.
Beach.
Beach. Little beach.
Going to the beach. With a beach.
So, have you ever been in a fight?
I've been in many fights. Squirrel! I have been in many fights in my life because, as we discussed, I was in Kid Fight Club as a child.
Yes.
But have you been in any fights?
I have been in a fight.
Tell me about your
A
fight.
single fight. I was 6 years old.
Oh, God.
And, now I have a suspicion. It has never been verified. It has never been confirmed. But
First catch! Or first throw.
And I've never actually done any research, and I'm pretty
your
sure
shit
this
out.
isn't true. But I am fairly certain that I used to be neighbors with Rey Mysterio.
Wait.
Do you know who Rey Mysterio is? He is a professional wrestler in the WWE.
Oh, yes, I know who Rey Mysterio is. Yeah.
I'm fairly certain. And I thought this when I was like now my 25-year-old self is like, no way you live next to Rey Mysterio. He didn't live.
But as a child, you had you'd done the
because
calculations.
This
and
happened to me when I
determined-
was 6, and then I got really into professional wrestling when I was like 9. And I was like, wait a minute, that makes sense. So here's the story. There was a kid that used to live next to me named Terry.
Okay.
This was in my pre stepbrother shitting his pants and throwing it under my clothing house. The house before we lived in that one.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I don't given the context now, I understand. But my parents didn't want me to hang out with Terry. For whatever reason, they're like, we don't want you to hang out with Terry. You're not hanging out with Terry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there were more reasons than just Terry.
There's more reasons than Terry.
I would be willing
Yeah.
to bet that his parents were not the best kind of people. But yeah.
So as to say, your parents are pretty lax. Like they are not the kind of parents that would be like
we don't want
hovering over you and being like, I don't know, we don't know if we agree with it would have to be something pretty like, oh, my kids are possibly like in danger of something to not be like.
But yes, so I went to preschool with Terry though, and I never had anything against Terry. He was always nice. He was always willing to come over and play. But my parents were like, yeah, you're not playing with Terry. Don't go play with Terry. So one day at school, we're like, Terry, I guess Terry was really into wrestling, which was also one of the reasons why I thought he was Rey Mysterio's son. But Terry was like, hey, Evan, we should practice our wrestling moves. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, okay. He's like, so I'm gonna do a kick to you. So you need to let me kick you. And I'm like, okay. Being my
You need to let me kick you.
My 6-year-old self was like, oh yes, fights happen. But I didn't really realize that oh, you get hurt if you fight.
Yeah.
You actually get hurt.
Yeah.
And also, again, being a 6-year-old, I'm sure Terry wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hurt this kid. I think he was just like, oh, I
Right.
saw wrestling on TV, and I want to try it and have fun, because it looks like fun. So this kid runs 10 feet away. It seemed like a lot further, but probably 10 feet away, because I was really little. Runs up, gets me in a headlock for some reason.
He was
Throws me to the ground, and I'm like, what are you doing? I get back
ready to go.
up, and he runs back, and he does a literal, a Jackie Chan style.
Oh my God.
Flying through the air, one leg bent, the other leg fully extended, right into my chest.
Oh my God.
Now that's what I remember, but I'm sure it was literally a 6-year-old just kicking.
Right, but yeah.
But that's what I remember.
In the theater of your mind.
Yes.
It was this epic fight of Naruto proportions.
So yes, I am on the ground. The wind is knocked out of me. I am crying my eyes out, and Terry books it.
Jeez, oh Pete.
So my teacher comes out. I'm crying. He's crying, and she's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Me and Terry were fighting, and he hurt me." And then she's like, "Okay, you both are in trouble." So when in my school back then, you would have to pull a popsicle stick out of a little pocket in the wall. So you would have to pull a stick, and if you ever pulled a stick, you would get a call home.
Oh my
You would pull a stick, give it to the teacher. That's how she would know. Okay, I need to call home because Evan did something naughty.
Okay, I was thinking you were gonna say like you picked your punishment out of the
No.
thing.
No.
I was like, oh, that's interesting.
It's like it's such a non-punishment, but when you're a child, it's like,
oh yeah,
you have to pull a stick.
It's like
oh
horrifying.
no, oh fuck. Did you guys have color changes?
Yeah, that we did have. Mm-hmm. We definitely had that, and that was
I had
terrifying.
A few color changes. I have another story after that. I'll let you tell your story though about your fighting story. But yeah, so that was the one fight. I'm 0 for 1.
Oh my god.
In my fight history.
That is. Really, honestly,
I took a headlock and a kick to the chest, and I was down for the count.
That's pretty depressing.
Yep. I was 6, though.
You were 6. You were just
6.
a little kid. Oh, jeez, oh, Pete, this might have been a mistake. Well, let's see. Let's
try
give him a chance.
Try number.
Give him a chance. Oh. Ooh. No. This was wrong.
Oh, it's actually pretty even. Hit him again.
No.
Do it again.
No, because he's gonna hit me. No, he's gonna hit me again.
Tell me about your fight story.
I will. I'm gonna take out Bulbapiss and see if he can fight better. I'll tell you my fight story. Okay, so when I was a young boy, when I was a little kid, I don't know, I was probably in like 2nd grade, maybe 2nd or 3rd grade. I was just really just kind of full of spite at that age, you know how it is. Mm-hmm. Full of spite. And that did nothing. Yeah, I was full of Sprite. No, I wasn't. I wasn't allowed to drink soda when I was a child.
Dude, this
Pidgeotto's fucking up my shot. But see, this is what I mean. Like, why am I struggling? It's probably because I refused to learn type matchups, but it's fine. Surely this is fine. You got this, Clefairy. Surely you won't take damage from the Pidgeotto. But yeah, so I was, like, definitely, like, just kind of, like, always out for blood as a child, which is fine.
You definitely struck me as the kid that fought a lot.
Yeah, it definitely did. Oh, that didn't do anything. Okay, well, we're just gonna do our best then. But yeah, so I was, like, kind of always out for blood, and I kind of knew, like... I feel like I've been a feminist since I was a child. I just didn't have the words for it. Mm-hmm. But I've definitely been a feminist since I was a child because one of the boys in the grade above me, I don't know what happened because it was one of those things where like sometimes we were friends and then sometimes we were like, I wish you would die. And we would like, whatever, we'd say that to each other. Mm-hmm. But so like there was one point where, basically, like, he came up to me during lunch one day and he was just, like, said something to the effect of, like, you're, like, stupid and weak because you're a girl. And I was like, well, that can't possibly be correct. And so then I got in, like, an argument with him, whatever. And then he was like, I'm gonna punch you to, like, prove that, like, boys are just stronger than girls and whatever. Never mind the fact that this kid was, like, easily had, like, a foot on me. Anyway, like, he was already, like, a bigger kid than me, so I'm like, well, of course you're stronger than me. Like, you're a giant kid, whatever. So, I'm like, oh, heck no, I'm not going down without a fight. Like, I know how to fight. We fight in my family all the time. I kick the shit out of my siblings and my cousins all the time. Like, absolutely not. Are you kidding me? So, I just spit at him, and then I kicked him in the knees. And then I pushed him. And this was in the lunchroom, so we were being observed, right? So the lunch ladies grab us, they take us apart, they take us to the freaking...
How old were you?
Principal's office. I was in, like, 2nd or 3rd grade.
Okay.
I think I was in, like, 2nd grade, so I was probably, like, 7. So take us to the principal's office, and, you know, like, it was this, you know, kids got in a fight, and we literally got in a fight. So we called parents, whatever, and I don't know what happened to him and his parents and whatever, but they called my parents in, and for whatever reason, I don't know what it was, because my dad would have been gone for work at that time, but they called him back, and he was the one that answered at home, so he was the one that came to the school to talk to the principal about the problem. And so he gets to the school, and our principal at the time was a very nice old man, like just like a grandpa type, whatever. And I think like he didn't, I don't really know what the situation was, but he basically was like, you know, talking to my dad and being like, so Bailey got in a fight today, blah, blah, blah. And they asked me about what happened. And, you know, I was just like, well, yeah, they told me that I was stupid because I was a girl or whatever. And this is what happened or whatever. And so my dad said, so what are we going to do about this? And the principal was like, well, technically, like, she's supposed to get, like, a discipline log and, like, whatever. Am I supposed to? And my dad goes, no. He's like, she's not getting in trouble for anything.
Yeah.
And the principal was like, he was one of those older dudes, very mild-mannered. Yeah. And you've met my dad. He's not a rude guy, but he's definitely like one of those guys. He says something, and you're just like, oh, okay. Well,
his voice and his
demeanor, his stature
commands respect.
Yeah, he's one of the.
He's one of the sweetest,
giant.
nicest, most gentle guys I've ever met in my life. Mm-hmm. But he has this look about him and this manner of speech where he's always calm. Mm-hmm. And that's just a little, like, in the right context.
Unsettling. It's very unsettling in the right context. And so he was just like, no. He was like, I want to know what is going to happen to the other student for telling my child that she was stupid and weak because she was a girl. And the principal was just like, okay, well, I don't know. And my dad was like, no, we know. Like, we know, whatever. So that was the only time, though, that I got, like, caught for having a fight.
Yeah.
Or, like, actually got in trouble for it. I mean, like, fights with my siblings, I don't know. I think when we were a lot younger, we got in trouble. And then as we got older, it was just like, listen, if we can break up the fight, if we can stop it, then I don't care. But I think that was the only time that I, like, actually had, like, a consequence for getting in a fight. And then, like I said, it really wasn't even a consequence because I got off scot-free because my father called out the horse hockey and was like, no, we're not doing that. So, yeah, it all worked out. Oh, shoot. Okay.
What?
Ooh, I thought I almost just wasted that on the thing.
No, they wouldn't do that.
We'll heal you.
It's a game for babies, so.
Yeah, a game for babies. Oopsie. But yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, another time when I got into, like, a real, like, I don't know if like I said, I got into physical altercations a lot, but it was always with, like, my siblings and my cousins. I think that might be, like, the only time I feel like there was probably other instances, but that's the only one that comes to mind. Oh, présent. But, yeah, I was out for blood, man.
Did you get in trouble all that?
No, because here's the thing, like, I feel like I was a relatively good gauge of, like, how far can I push before, like, this comes back and bites me in the ass.
Yeah.
And, like, I was also very good at, like, I don't want to say, like, acting like I felt bad or, like, acting like I felt guilty, because it really wasn't. It was fully, like, oh, I did feel really bad, like, as soon as I said something. So, like, a lot of the times, too, like, I would say something and someone would be like, that's so me, or whatever, and I'd be like, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know, I feel like I got out a lot of stuff that way, too, but I don't know, I was kind of just a little shit-eating kid.
I was, too. Like, we'll talk about it in future episodes, but I was, like, I got in trouble, not a lot. Like, I wasn't that kid that got in trouble every single day. Like, there were kids in my class that would get multiple color changes a day.
Oh, yeah. I almost, when it was, like, a color change, I would maybe get a yellow for, like, being too chatty, but then I would, like, take it very, very seriously the rest of the day, which I'm assuming is not probably the case with you.
I would say in my 6 years as an elementary school student, kindergarten through 5th grade, I got maybe 6 color changes, which is not an admirable amount. But you know, I was a kid, and I got into some shit.
I feel like I got. You said 6 from like that entire time period. I feel like I got that in a year.
Oh.
What's this that like? I just like to talk all the time, so I was always chatting, and then I would always get in trouble. They'd be like, "You don't be quiet."
Well, and it would never be like, "Oh, I'm talking too much." It would be like, "I did a shitty thing."
Oh, okay. Well then.
Like I told the kid once that because like I ran out of my red crayon. I'm like, "Oh, I don't have any red crayons," and the kid like. Totally being just a nice kid, like I haven't talked to him in a while, but like I went through all of high school with him. We were friends. He's like, "Oh, you can just use Scarlet. Scarlet is like kind of like red." I'm like, "Zach, nobody asked you." And I don't know why he said he was just trying to be nice. He was just trying to be helpful.
He was just your friend trying to be nice, and you're just like,
I'm like, nobody asked you. And, like, I wasn't mad at him for any reason, but I just said it. And, like, my teacher heard, and she's like, "Evan, go change your color right now."
Oh, you guys had to change them on your own?
Oh, yeah. We had to walk over and
so
swap
much
the
worse.
card ourselves.
That's so much worse.
Oh, it's traumatizing.
It's traumatizing. See, we didn't have to do that. We didn't have to, like, martyr ourselves.
Like, there was no, like, "Oh, we're going to give you a spank," or, like, "Oh, we're going to take away, you're not going to get a snack."
Why would they give you a spank at school?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there was no, like, threat.
Saying. Yeah.
It was just you need to go swap your card to a different color, and that was like, oh, God.
It's like, what have I done?
And then I went home that day, and my mom will tell you this story. I would go home, and I walked up to my mom, and I was crying, and I said, "Well, you might as well know I got a color change today."
You might as well know. You may as well know about my sins. That's incredible.
Like,
oh my God.
And that's one of my mom's favorite stories to tell. You might as well know I got a color change today, sobbing as I got off the bus.
Freaking hilarious. That is such a like a kid had just learned a phrase for the first time and was like, "I'm gonna use this," even though it's like a traumatizing moment. Like that's incredible. I love that so much. I mean,
want to hear more about you being a naughty.
A lot of mine though are like they were like such small things. Like if we ever find a video of it, there is a video of I had to have been like no older than 5. But there's a video of us at some family thing out at my grandparents' old house. And my grandpa is grilling something and I'm like doing a little dance or something on the driveway. And my grandpa goes, "Hey, Bailey, will you go get me a spatula?" And I'm like, "You get your own spatula, Grandpa." To which there was not really, like, any punishment or anything for that. It was just like, oh, that was a funny thing. Like, it's just, like, stuff like that where it was like, I was, like, sassy about something. Oh, there's also, speaking of stuff that's on video, there is a video of me, too. We were all, like, out in the sprinkler in the backyard at the house that my parents live in currently. And... we, again, could not have been more than, like, 5, probably. It's, like, Vinny and Jordan were, like, just learning how to walk, and we were all playing in the sprinkler. Yeah. And I was, like, dancing in front of the camera, whatever. I was, like, showing off my moves. And then poor little Vinny, he's, like, 1.5. He, like, toddles in front of me. And just, like, the instant rage of like, how dare you? So I just shove him. I like put 2 hands square on his little tiny back and just shove him face first into the grass, and he starts crying immediately. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you get, you little dork. And then his mom, my aunt, runs up and like shoves me down, and I like got up and like, hey, and, like the video ends, I think, with me like chasing her off into the, you know, whatever. But it's like that's just the kind of shit I did. Like I was just such a shitty kid. Like, I think I was nice, and I was, like, a helpful kid and, like, a somewhat obedient kid. But I was just, like, sassy and, like, kind of fueled by rage sometimes. Yeah. I don't know. That's my story for you. But yeah, so there's, like, I don't know that necessarily there was, like, a lot of, like, really big moments of, like, oh my god, I can't believe I just did that, or, like, I can't believe that just happened. But, like, it was just more like, it was small things.
Mm-hmm.
Small things that I did on the reg.
Yeah.
That were just real rough.
Yeah.
But
I haven't been paying attention to you playing Pokemon.
that's okay. I've been just vibing and thriving and just really getting my teeth kicked in by all these trainers. Yeah. So I did go reset this. Okay, good. I don't want to catch that thing.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I think that's a good spot to end.
Probably, yeah. Probably a good time to catch up next time.
Catch up next time, yo.
Catch up next time.
Bye.
Bye, girl.